Hey everyone, welcome to this week's recap of the Mole recap. And also the new episode.
We got a lot to squeeze into 10 minutes here.
So, they started the competition in Los Angeles, Chile.
And Craig showed us his second talent, a steamroller.
Yeah, so we're not going to go into depth really with this recap because you can just watch it in the other videos.
We're just going to see the highlights.
So yeah, hidden footage, or just not shown yet, of Craig steamrolling over people.
I don't want to be in the Craig steamroller. I feel my spleen bursting.
And then
Mark was a little tricksy.
Yeah, they focused on how he had multiple coalitions.
Yeah, he's a little coalition slut. And what was wrong with Bobby? I don't think they ever explained what was wrong with him.
He just wasn't athletic.
Is he like medically fragile or something?
Skinny does not equal fit.
Well, people were being really sneaky, or not so sneaky, and
Alex left his journal out.
Yeah, but wasn't everybody reading everybody else's journal anyway? Except for probably Mark, because he was the journal Nazi. So Nicole went crazy. We all remember that.
I will kill you. I know ways to do it without leaving evidence. There's something I don't know.
Which leads me to believe that Paul is the mole, because a normal person would have been like, this bitch scares me. But he kind of probably was like, well, the show will protect me. You know, so that's kind of why I think he might be the mole. Because he didn't seem to be too rattled by any of all that.
He played it up, though. He was like, oh, I'm so scared for my life.
But then again, is Nicole the mole? Nah, she's just crazy.
Then again, though, that could be the perfect cover to say that she's doing this to make people think that she's the mole. Blah, 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 yada, 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 you know?
You know what the coolest thing about the mole is?
What?
Alex's baby travel guitar.
Yes. I forgot he was a musician, and they showed all these clips, and I was like, oh my gosh.
I want one of those, and I want to hang out with Alex.
He seems awesome.
I know. Well, like we said, Mark is a journal freak. He spends all of his time with no one else except his journal.
And before they focused on that, they showed Craig getting sick when they were hiking up the Andes.
Oh, Craig.
Yeah.
How can he be the mole? I mean, they couldn't have planned that he would, be near death.
He could be, because if he does crappy, they're still happy for him, because, oh, you're breaking boundaries or whatever.
Yeah, but he could have died, you know? Not that that's funny.
No.
Okay, so Clay and Paul, they really got into it at the end there.
Yeah.
They had a fight with fruit.
In the car ride.
He threw that lemon, and you know what?
Who's he, Mom? You need to clarify.
Oh, all right. Clay threw the lemon at Paul's head, and he said, if that was a rock, that probably could have killed me.
Dude, I need to provide for my family.
If it was a grenade, you would have blown up.
It's true, though. You can't be throwing crap. That's not cool.
It's not cool.
I don't care who you are.
Well, right now, Maddie, there's 6 of them left.
Yes. Alex, Paul, Nicole, Craig, Clay, and Mark.
And that's only one girl, and that's that crazy Nicole.
She's the final woman.
Wow. So we end up in Mendoza, Argentina.
Yes, and the first challenge this week is the grapes of cash.
Ching ching. Okay, so there's going to be 2 teams. 3 runners on one side and 3 thinkers on the other.
Yeah, so the runners are Mark, Alex, and Clay. Sorry, I couldn't read that.
And the best athlete out of the runners is Mark.
Yeah, they had to choose.
That's
and
right.
then the thinkers were Nicole, Craig, and Paul, and they had to choose the best communicator.
Paul, of course. He's got the gift of gab.
I don't know if they would have picked him if he hadn't called out oh, it's me.
You know, he's the mole. He's
I don't know. I don't know.
All right.
I think it could be any of them.
They've got to find 7 bottles of wine that are hidden.
In the vineyard.
Right. So that's a total of $70,000. That's $10,000 per bottle. And there's going to be 7 multiple choice brain teasers.
Which the thinkers have to answer.
Right.
And they have to give their answer to Paul, the communicator.
Right.
And each answer corresponds to different
coordinates. Right. Which they have to relay by phone.
Well, Paul does.
Right. To the runners. And they're going to have GPS in order to find the wine, the coordinates. But the whole time, Mark is on a treadmill, like a rat in a cage.
Mm-hmm.
And every time they find a bottle of wine, he's going to be running faster and faster.
And if he stops, the challenge is over.
Over.
So he can help answer the multiple choice questions, but Paul can't.
Right. It was a little bit tricky in the vineyard.
Mm-hmm.
But they managed to find all 7 bottles of wine.
It seemed like Mark was answering most of the questions while he was on the treadmill, and the other 2 were just like, rah.
I think Nicole is just basically trying to throw the whole thing to make it look like she's the mole, which is way too obvious to me.
But they earned a total of $70,000, which
brings the total up to $247,000.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Well, Paul and Alex, they're banding together because they don't like Nicole.
No.
Who does? Not me. I don't even think Nicole likes herself.
So they're starting to think that she might actually be the mole.
Right. Because she's making it too obvious.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last challenge this week is called Swing Out.
It's worth $60,000, and
it
they
takes place 90 feet above water.
Yeah. They have to walk onto this plank, bungee jump off the bridge,
take their little bag of tea, and throw it into the middle of a target.
Yeah.
In a bullseye.
So, like, each spot on the target is worth a different amount of money.
Right.
So, yeah.
And there's a little twist, because he's going to be, John Kelly is going to be asking everybody, I'll need a little prediction from you. How much do you think you guys are all going to make? So he takes their prediction, and whoever comes the closest,
without going over,
right, wins an exemption for this week.
Ooh.
Well, everybody missed.
Except for Alex.
That's right. So they only earned a measly $4,000 out of 60.
That looks like a really hard challenge.
It was. So the total is $251,000.
And for the exemption, everyone was guessing way too high.
Way too high. They were overly optimistic.
I was the closest, but I was still over.
I should have guessed 0. And I would have been right.
I changed it to 0 like halfway through, but then...
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's time for dinner and a test.
Mm-hmm.
So you know the test. What color is the mole? Yeah.
So, first name called was Alex. And he had the red thumbprint.
I told you he wasn't the mole.
I thought he was for a while. He had me convinced. Because he was all, like, sly behind the scenes and such.
What more reason do we have to watch this show now without Baby Guitar?
He was my favorite.
I know. Well, next week, it's going to be family time.
It was weird. The families were, like, on this train.
Yeah, it's all about trust.
Know.
I think it's either, like, see your family and, like, touch them and hug them and kiss them and love them, or, like, say, bye, I want the money. So we'll have to wait and find out because, creative editing. Till then, much love.